You wake before sunrise. The air is cold. The grass is wet with dew. Somewhere beyond these hills, your scouts tell you, is a village. How large it is, you do not yet know. You have led men into battle before, and you have never lost. But today, that record will end. Your name is George Armstrong Custer. You are 36 years old. You graduated last in your class at West Point in 1861. It did not matter. War was coming, and war does not ask for a class rank. By the end of the Civil War, you are one of the youngest generals in the Union Army. Newspapers call you the boy general. You wear your hair long, you wear a red scarf, you want to be seen. Now, in 1876, you command the 7th United States Cavalry. You have been sent into the Northern Plains for one purpose: to help force the Lakota, the Northern Cheyenne, and their allies onto reservations. The reason you are here begins 2 years earlier, in the Black Hills. In 1874, you led an expedition into the Black Hills, land promised to the Lakota by treaty. Your men found gold there. The news spread fast. Miners followed. The United States government, unable or unwilling to stop them, tried instead to buy the land. The Lakota refused. By the winter of 1875, the government ordered all Lakota and Cheyenne bands onto reservations by a fixed date. Many did not comply. Some had never been near a reservation. Others simply refused to give up their way of life. Among those who resisted are Sitting Bull, a Hunkpapa Lakota holy man, and Crazy Horse, an Oglala war leader. You do not know them personally. You know only that they are gathering and that your orders are to find them. You believe, as many officers do, that native villages scatter when soldiers approach. You believe speed and surprise win battles. This belief has served you before. You learned this lesson at Gettysburg, where a cavalry charge you led helped break a Confederate assault. You learned it again and again through the war, that hesitation costs more lives than aggression. You have carried this lesson into the plains. At the Battle of the Washita River in 1868, a dawn attack on a Cheyenne village brought you a swift, decisive victory, though even then, questions lingered about who exactly you had struck and at what cost to the village's inhabitants. You do not dwell on that. You trust your instincts. They have made you famous. They have made you feared. Your scouts are Crow and Arikara men, from nations with their own long history of conflict with the Lakota. They know this land. They know what the signs mean. On the morning of June 25th, your chief scout, Michbuye, and Crow scouts climb to a high point later called the Crow's Nest. From there, they see something in the haze of the valley below: smoke, horse herds, more lodges than they have ever seen gathered in one place. They tell you it is the largest village they have ever seen, larger than your regiment can safely engage. You look yourself, but the distance and the light make it difficult to see what they describe. You do not fully believe them. You have been told before that villages are larger than they turn out to be. You believe it too, that your greater danger is not the size of the village, it is the possibility that it will scatter before you can strike it. You decided that speed matters more than caution. You have roughly 600 men. You decide to divide them. You send Captain Frederick Benteen with 3 companies to scout the bluffs to the south to prevent the village from escaping that way. You send Major Marcus Reno with 3 companies to attack the village from the south end of the valley. You keep 5 companies, roughly 210 men, under your own direct command, intending to strike from the north or east. The pack train, carrying reserve ammunition, follows behind, slower, guarded by a single company. This is not a reckless decision by the standards you know. Dividing a force to strike from multiple directions has worked before, for you and for other commanders. You believe it will trap the village between converging attacks. What you do not know, what you cannot know from where you stand, is exactly how many warriors are in that valley or how quickly they will organize. Reno's men reach the village first. They dismount, form a skirmish line, and open fire. Warriors respond in numbers Reno did not expect. Lakota and Cheyenne fighters, which by many accounts include warriors led by Crazy Horse, pour out to meet them. Reno's line breaks. His men retreat in disorder across the river, up into the bluffs. You do not see this happen. You are miles away, riding north along the bluffs above the river, looking for a place to cross and strike the village from another direction. Dust rises from the valley floor. You send a message back to Benteen. "Come on, big village, be quick, bring packs." It is the last order of yours that survives. You lead your 5 companies down toward the river, perhaps intending to ford it and hit the village from the north. You do not reach it. Warriors, Lakota, Cheyenne, and some Arapaho allies cross to meet you in numbers. Historians still debate, but almost certainly several thousand fighters, women, and children in the camp, with many hundreds of warriors able to respond within minutes. The terrain works against you. Coulees and ridgelines break your line of sight. Your companies become separated from one another as they try to hold ground. Historians still debate the exact sequence, whether your companies moved as one body toward the river and were pushed back, or whether you tried from the start to take high ground. What is clear is that within roughly an hour, your command is surrounded. Lakota and Cheyenne warriors, including Crazy Horse, Gall, and others, use the terrain expertly, flanking through low ground, riding close, forcing your men into smaller and smaller positions. You do not have the numbers. You do not have Reno. You do not have Benteen. The pack train, with its reserve ammunition, is still miles behind. Your companies pull back toward a low ridge above the river, the place later known as Last Stand Hill. You hesitate only for a moment. Then you give what orders you can. The fighting compresses into a smaller and smaller space. Ammunition runs low. Horses are shot or driven off. Communication between companies breaks down entirely. Archaeological evidence, spent cartridges, and their positions mapped decades later suggests the fighting here was fast and chaotic, not a slow, organized defense. Within an hour, it is over. You and every man with you are dead. What exactly happened in your final moments? Whether you were among the last to fall, whether you understood by then how the day would end, is something no account can answer with certainty. News of the defeat reaches the American public days later, arriving alongside the nation's centennial celebrations. The shock is immense. Newspapers call it a massacre. You become almost overnight a martyr, a symbol of frontier courage cut down by treachery, as many will describe it at the time. For the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho, the battle is remembered differently, as a defense of their families, their land, and their way of life, at a moment when survival itself was at stake. The victory does not last. Public outrage over your death leads to a harder, faster military campaign against the very people who defeated you. Within a year, most of the resisting bands, including Crazy Horses, surrender or are forced onto reservations. Sitting Bull leads his followers into Canada, returning years later to a changed world. Historians still debate your decisions that day, whether you were reckless or simply unlucky in the numbers you faced. What is certain is that the battle did not save the world you were fighting to preserve, nor did it destroy the one the Lakota and Cheyenne were fighting for. It only delayed for a moment. You rode into that valley believing in speed, in boldness, in the instincts that had never failed you. They failed you once. History remembers your last stand, but history rarely asks why you rode into it.